Hello, you smashing pumpkins. Welcome back to Mick. It's your favorite smile back snack jack tea person drink stories. As always, highlight the ones you prefer to talk about below in the comments. I like to read them. I like to hear your opinions. And without that said, I guess enjoy the stories. Yeah. Am I the a-hole for telling a woman her child died to escape a mother like her? I, a 26-year-old female, got into a discussion with a distant acquaintance, just around my age, a female as well, through my husband. Discussion was totally unrelated to health or family or anything, and somewhere down the line, I casually made a remark that I only have a mum, I don't have a dad. Then sometime later, our opinions went their separate ways, and in a heat of an argument, she told me that no surprise my dad walked out on me as he didn't want such a daughter. The point is, my dad died after he lost a long and tiring battle with cancer. I just didn't mention it. I didn't mention any reason as of why I don't have a dad. But I know that her only son died of cancer, and she is still in therapy for that a couple of years later. A mutual friend and acquaintance circle gossips, all that stuff. I responded with, well, it's safe to assume that your son died to escape a mother like you, as he walked out on you the same way my dad walked out on me. Now, she is painting me as a horrible person to everybody who is willing to listen, and of course, she is giving her version of events that sounds like I just decided to be mean out of nowhere, and what a horrible person I am. After hearing my side, our friends and acquaintances still say that I shouldn't have retaliated like that, as she didn't mean it or didn't know, etc. In my opinion, you don't say things you know nothing about. So, am I the a-hole? Edit to clarify, in my native language, saying I don't have a dad doesn't imply he's a deadbeat dad. It doesn't imply he walked out on me, it offers zero implications, and that's why I chose that phrasing. I encompass every possible reason under the sun why he is not here, but offers zero implication. It just means that he is not recoverable and never will be for whatever reason that makes him not to be here. That was such a convoluted way to explain yourself, but what do people think? This is an obvious everyone sucks here. Both of you punched below the belt, and she started it is no excuse. Disagree. She started it is a great excuse. Everyone is bound by a contract of common decency, up until somebody else breaks that contract. It's no different to hitting someone and being shocked when they hit you back. And not the a-hole. She wanted a fight, she got one. In my eyes, telling someone their father didn't want them is the exact same thing as telling a mother that their child didn't want them. And they literally died of the same cause. So everything being equal, you just sank to her level. No sense in taking the high road if you feel like they don't deserve it. Oh, you're the a-hole. You're punishing her the same way for something you didn't like her doing to you. Hypocrisy! If you didn't want to be the a-hole, you should have taken the higher ground. You're the a-hole because you knew the information while she did not. Why would you want to lower yourself to the standards of someone who is so garbage is beyond me. But congratulations on your good comeback. Hope it's worth it. This one sounds a lot like a debate on just moral standings above what is right and wrong justly. I agree, sometimes the best way to communicate to people is to stoop down to their level. But I'm personally going to say Yata here, because despite her making an unnecessarily scathing comment just because of her views not matching yours, she didn't know the ramifications of what she was saying compared to you. But then again, how do you be unintentional in how harsh you were being when you talk about something like, it's your fault your father left you? I'll leave that one up to you in the comments below. For now, next story. My husband is getting sued and fired for sexual harassment, and my family and friends are calling me a gold digger for wanting to leave. My husband, who's 49 years old, and I, a 46-year-old female, have been together for 23 years and grew up in the same city. Our parents knew each other before we really ever met. Everybody from our past really admires him because we came from a working class neighborhood and he became successful. We have a daughter together who is 13. I am a stay-at-home mother who helps my parents manage their restaurant, that my husband and I have a stake in, on the weekends. Both sides of the family love getting together, so our family basically is our entire extended family. My parents always taught me to be grateful for everything I had in life, so I've never felt comfortable asking for anything. When my husband would come home late and say he was at work, I would feel that I was being overbearing if I asked him what exactly he was doing at work, or why does it have to be so late. I had discovered an affair once after our daughter was born, but he convinced me that I was 20 pounds heavier than I was pre-pregnancy, and that he was sexually turned off by my tired nature. That doesn't excuse it, though. Things got better after our daughter was a toddler, and he is a good father to our daughter.
But being a good father doesn't excuse cheating.
Things started going to hell in May. My husband started acting very agitated and would miss many days of work or spend all his time in our home office. When I asked what was going on, he said I wouldn't understand. He is a partner at the company he works at with his name on their signs. Finally, he told me that he was so sorry, but he messed up and had an affair with an employee. It ended badly, and now everybody was putting him under a microscope, and they were conducting an investigation. I was furious, naturally, and told him I wanted out of this marriage. He cried and said he'd go to counseling. Then, in this past month, he starts getting served by process servers. He refused to tell me about what he was getting sued for, and my mother-in-law told me,
"None of your business."
My cousin told him that court records are easily searchable and she'll find out for me eventually. So he admitted that he's getting sued by the employee he had an affair with and another employee he rejected. I was angry and told my parents that I was filing for divorce. After I told them that my husband told everybody he was expecting to resign soon, and now everybody is saying that it's rather funny that I'm leaving right when the money seems to be trickling to a stop, and that I was going to leave him possibly bankrupt instead of standing by the man who supported me for 23 years. Friends of his have texted me and said that him being supported by a spouse would help make judges more sympathetic towards him. Other friends now have iced me out of everything, and this has affected my daughter. How do I navigate this situation? Everybody is against me, and I'm being seen as a villain for believing two strangers over your daughter's father. My daughter is furious at me and asking why I didn't ask my husband what really happened instead of believing lies. So a bit of a dark, somewhat dramatic story, but I guess that's what makes people enjoy these things half the time. Some thoughts. I believe everyone deserves a second chance, but should never expect a third. He cheated on you again after you gave him that second chance. You have every right to end a relationship with someone who is unfaithful. So people think this ugly about you? Well, then tell them what really happened. That he had an affair that blew up in his face, and you're not sticking with someone who keeps cheating on you. Maybe embarrassing them for even suggesting you're a gold digger will keep them from doing it again. Yeah, well, with the way they're treating her, I wouldn't be surprised if they know all about him cheating. That would explain why his mother told her it was
None of her business.
When she asked what the lawsuit was about. This whole family sounds like an absolute trash bin of a fire. I would have to propose that we don't really blame and shame all the friends for thinking what they think, at least not until the OP has given her side of events to them, because they are really just behaving based on the information they were given, which is really one side of the story, similar to what we are currently sitting ourselves in. Now, we could discuss in the husband's defense that maybe we need more details into why he's being sued. Is it possible that maybe these people are suing him to take advantage of his position of power, and that the business itself is completely targeting him as a scapegoat? But the issue here isn't exactly the legitimacy of his defense and their accusations, but rather the woman's freedom and right to leave a man that she can no longer trust as a committed partner. This is a woman who deserves her full autonomy to do whatever she wants, especially in relationships that she is in. If you don't like that in a partner, date a robot and keep watching hentai. I don't know. Next story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my friend of 15 years out after she admitted to being a side chick for the past 3 years? I'm a married woman with 3 kids. I've been cheated on by my spouse, unfortunately, in the past. She knew that. She moved in back in December, and it was downhill ever since. I left her move in under the guise that she would help me and my family, since I am battling cancer and my husband is in the military, but it was nothing like that. Now let me just start by saying I have always supported and never judged her. But this was just something I couldn't stand behind. She wasn't here majority of the time. She was back and forth between my place and our hometown. I would buy her flights to travel back and forth because she would always tell me it was for business or for family reasons. It was actually her girlfriend that told me. They're lesbians, respectfully. They were both drunk on FaceTime together, and when I questioned why my friend is never here, and when she is here, doesn't help out, she is always in the room on her phone FaceTiming her girlfriend. That's when her girlfriend flat out said, "You know what? I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm married. I'm not happy with my wife and we live together still, but your friend is who I want to be with." Following that was them both in so many ways admitting that my friend had actually been flying back to see her instead of family. I stepped away and needed to process what I just heard, in hopes they were both just drunk talking, but nope. The next morning, she confirmed it. She also went as far as to show me who the wife is and made comments about how she loves knowing that her wife isn't the only one having her. What was I supposed to say to that? I mean, there were more disgusting comments that she made, but really? I just couldn't believe that this woman I've known since we were children could get satisfaction out of hurting someone. Like, she was truly mocking the girl with a smile on her face. I told her I didn't want that type of energy in my home, and it would be best if she left. Since then, I've been getting DMs from her friends telling me how low down I am. I don't understand how I'm an a-hole for protecting my home and the type of energy that is brought in. There's a list of other things she said and did that brought me to make the decision, but this was the brunt of it. So people's thoughts. Not the a-hole. She took advantage of you and is now mad that her money train ran dry. Her friends can let her stay with them, and she can figure out her own way to get to her lover. You're the a-hole. If you'd kicked her out because she never helps out or any of the other issues you've alluded to, that'd be fair enough. But over moral objections to something which has no effect on you personally? I don't think that's right. And it very much is highly judgmental on your part. Weirdly enough, I actually hate that I'm gonna say this, but I do agree and think you're the a-hole. I think the only standing you had here was no longer paying for her flights. The issue of her not helping out in the household, well, unless you guys made that clear that was her purpose of getting to stay with you, I don't think you have any footing there either. You can treat this cheater as scum and disapprove of her actions all you want, but you don't get to put justice on her for your own sense of righteousness. By which I mean upheaving her entire living situation and lifestyle just because you don't like what she's done morally. And I mean, here's the thing. Ironically, or even, I guess, hypocritically, I wouldn't be thinking of this of you if you actively, reached out to the person being cheated on. I guess this just feels a bit like slacktivism to me. Like, you're so against the idea of cheating, but even though you know who is being cheated on, you're not making any efforts to thwart it from continuing. I don't know, I think honestly I'm in two spaces about this story. Those are my confusing and weirdly worded thoughts. Leave yours down below. I'm looking forward to everyone calling me an a-hole for not immediately wanting this cheater to be crucified. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to go to my mother-in-law's wedding because of the story behind her dress? My mother-in-law and I hate each other. I tried to win her over and realized too late. The more you try with her, the more you tick her off. From her perspective, I am pushing, disrespectful, and ruined her family. My husband barely talks to his sisters anymore because of how they treat me, but nothing is ever her little princess's fault. From my perspective, she is catty, antisocial, and needs everything her way. I have realized that my husband is never going to choose a side, and I have made peace with that. For everything wrong with her, she was an excellent mother, and they can have their relationship. She has always been snotty about my looks. I'm not up to her standards. She won the genetic lottery and doesn't let anyone forget it. Anyway, mother-in-law is getting married and trying to do everything very fast. She got engaged in June and wants the wedding in August. She mentioned the other day that she bought a dress a couple of years ago and didn't wear it, so maybe she can wear it now. She tried it on, and it is a gorgeous, clearly bridal gown. Her fiancé laughed when she tried it on and said, "Isn't that the dress you bought for the OP's wedding?" She said yes, and I was ticked off. Not only is it white, it is cut to the freaking navel and sparkly. It would have completely overshadowed my wedding look. Her fiancé then told me how he talked her out of wearing this white monstrosity by saying she was going to upstage me either way, and does she want to do it because she is beautiful or because she is tacky? Yeah, that makes me feel good. And he wasn't even her boyfriend at the time. He was a wedding guest on my side who claimed to be in agreement that she was a crazy smitch. I guess he's into that kind of woman. I asked if she really was going to wear that to my wedding, and she was like, "Oh, well, I didn't." I asked if she seriously bought that for my wedding, and she laughed and admitted she did. I told her fine, have fun at her thrown-together last-minute wedding, and good luck with her marriage. They deserve each other. She doesn't care, but my husband is hurt and thinks I should suck it up for one evening, because he goes to my family events that he doesn't enjoy. He said she did the right thing in the end, didn't wear the dress, and I can't punish her for just thinking about it. He claims he will be uncomfortable if I don't go because he isn't getting along with his sisters, and everyone else will just be her friends. Thoughts say? You're the a-hole. I seriously doubt not going to the wedding will be the smartest move in your situation. Just move on. It's one day. You are putting your partner in a very uncomfortable position, and it won't make it any easier to deal with mother-in-law in the future. Yeah, OP. Gosh, why are you being so selfish? It's not like the husband is doing the exact same thing to you. You're the a-hole. Your husband is right. She didn't wear the dress, so it makes no sense you'd make this a big, huge, terrible deal. Sounds like you're not as okay with monster mother-in-law and your husband's acquaintance to her as you claim. I don't know anyone who truly would be. Not the a-hole, but your husband chose his mother over you. I would not go to anything she attends. This is a hill I'd die on. The story does come across as a clear-cut, obvious natar, like this mother-in-law is obviously an a-hole and so self-centered and deserves absolutely no pity. But let's listen to the story from another perspective. This woman doesn't get along with her husband's sisters, or the mother-in-law either. I mean, she even admits that the husband hasn't been talking to his sisters much at all lately, ever since really being with you. How can we be certain that the OP herself isn't a bit of a bridezilla? But still, that's not really the point of the story. It's whether or not she is justified to not want to go to a wedding when the person getting married has clearly had some very villainous tendencies towards her in the past. In that instance, I'm definitely going to say natar, but I'm watching you. Next story, am I the a-hole for not letting my son use the family ring to propose with? My son, who's a 26-year-old, wants to use my mum's ring to propose to his girlfriend, a 24-year-old. He apparently told her he would propose with it without telling me, assuming I would let him. I told him I won't let him use the ring for the engagement, only the wedding, and only after she signs a legal agreement saying the ring is to be returned to the family in the event of a divorce. He is furious because he says having that agreement makes it look like I think they're going to divorce. I admit, I think there's a good chance of that. They broke up in 2019 and got back together again after 7 months, and they get into a massive fight at least once a month. If he wants to marry her, that's fine, but I don't want my mum's ring, which she got from her great aunt, leaving the family. He doesn't want to tell her because it would make her look like he's worried that their marriage won't be long-term, and wants to use the ring to demonstrate that he's serious. But I don't want him to give her the ring until the wedding, so she doesn't run off with it if things go bad. I'm not sure of the value of the ring, but it's got a 5-carat ruby and multiple diamonds, so I assume it's over 10k value. Some thoughts? The ring is to be a gift by requiting the agreement. It's clearly indicating that you do not see her as a family member and will not see her as one even after getting married. Everyone sucks here. You either give the ring or you don't. You wouldn't be the a-hole for not giving the ring, but you don't put so many conditions on it. Either it's yours or it's his to give away as he chooses. Not the a-hole. You are 100% entitled to determine what happens with your property, and he is out of line for assuming that he gets free use of your ring. So quite a lot of different opinions with this story. We're already at the 20-minute mark, and I still got a few more stories to read, so we're just going to leave this little screenshot here of me researching exactly the value of a 5-carat ruby, depending on what's done to it and how it's been done. Yes, just a little bit over 10k. Just a little. Now let's calm down with some more normal stories. Am I the a-hole for not kissing this girl after she tried to scoop out my small intestine through my anus with her tongue? Welcome to Reddit. Third time hooking up. I enjoy going down on females, and she really enjoyed it. We flipped over and she gave amazing head, then flipped my legs over both of her arms and lifted my booty in the air and proceeded to tickle my anus with her tongue. I had recently smoked a blunt and was literally trying hard for her to not realize I was convulsing from the laughter from the tickle, but then her tongue slipped up deep inside and I was caught off guard. I put my hand on the back of her head and she went oh, and then mentioned that she liked me jamming her face into my poopy propulsion compartment. So whatever. I like this girl and she's into it, so that's cool with me. Plus, it tickled and felt pretty good. Jeez, I can't believe I'm sharing this. Anyways, after sticking her tongue so far deep into my I almost coughed. She quickly springs up and starts to kiss me. I politely leaned my head upward, as in, oh man, I'm so turned on, I'm just gleaming to the stars upward. When in reality, it was don't kiss me with your poo-poo lips and poop breath. She persisted, and I insisted, and she backed off and asked what was wrong. I panicked and just said I was too drunk and the room was spinning, but I think she knows. Maybe she doesn't. Frick. What a terrible day to be able to read and comprehend English. You're the a-hole for the visuals. There's no need to apply judgment on this story. I am merely just testing YouTube's demonetization algorithm. Next story. Am I the a-hole for being uncomfortable with supporting my girlfriend financially while traveling? My girlfriend, 27, and myself, 28, have started traveling last November. Before this time, we both had full-time employment and had each saved up a fair amount. Just before leaving our steady lives, I managed to make a deal with my employer due to how much I am now able to work part-time and remotely. This has been great since it has allowed me to cover all my expenses and still save up a bit. My girlfriend wasn't so lucky, however, and has been without steady income ever since. Her savings have been steadily bleeding to the point where she now has about 2,500 euros left. This is causing her a great deal of stress, and we have had a few fights about the topic of me financially supporting her. I'm a bit more frugal than her in my spending, and I'm saving up, slowly, to invest for our future and to someday be able to buy a house. Covering both our expenses would mean I wouldn't be able to save anymore, and possibly it would mean having to dip into my savings as well. I don't mind supporting my girlfriend for a while at all, but I fear it may be for a longer period than she thinks. She used to work in customer service and doesn't have many more marketable skills besides that. Since our travels started, she has tried to get her social media account some more traction in hopes of gaining some sort of income with this, but she hasn't been very successful thus far. I've tried to make clear to her that this is a long shot, but she still has hope. To her credit, she has also sent out many applications, over 30, for remote customer service jobs, but this hasn't had much response. We are now planning to move to Asia in a month, and even though she wants to look for a job there, I'm not sure how feasible this is due to legality issues with a tourist visa and a possible lack of employment possibilities due to the current circumstances. Alternatively, to keep costs low, she wants to make use of workaways during our travels, working at animal shelters, hostels, farms, etc. in return for bed and sometimes food. But this is a bit less practical for me since I do still have to work for my remote job a few days a week. Am I the a-hole for dreading to pay for my girlfriend's travels and possibly jeopardizing my financial goals? I'm going for guitar here. You agreed on traveling together, and likely agreed on a timeline and route. You are in this together. You are not two strangers meeting in the middle of the road. It is luck that you have a continuous income, and she has shown that she is willing to work and is searching for it. You are putting her in a lot of stress by not accommodating to what would be possible workplaces for her, but also not being willing to share. Not the a-hole. She's not entitled to your money just because you're dating. On top of that, if her finances got bad, she should have refused to go or plan to leave early. Yeah, traveling together is great, but she needs to be responsible for her own finances, not use you as a brace. Wanting to travel when she doesn't have much cash isn't your problem. I suppose this does depend on exactly how much money she's expecting you to fork out for her, and also for how long. Because right now it seems like you're just assuming that she's gonna take all of your savings as well. Set a financial deadline, as well as a time deadline, that you are comfortable to give and she is willing to work with. I think in that scenario, that is as much as you are obligated to give as a romantic partner. Otherwise, I think you are totally fine to think about the fact of your finances first. Especially in a career and, pursuit that is something that clearly has a bit of risk when it comes to needing money on the side at all times. Obviously, your hesitancy to help her out will affect your relationship, and so I think it comes down to the fact of how much are you willing to give to ensure that she is safe. Hell, why don't you just finish things early with her so you can be saving up with her as well? But anyway, I'm gonna end things there. I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, any thoughts you have about the current layout of these videos or any opinions you think I can do to improve it, please check out the little questionnaire I have in the link in the description. It's literally like 5 little dot point questions, real simple to fill out, just lets me know what I'm doing right for yous. Remember, every time you like these videos, I won't go to the little kid in my closet and add another scar in his head. I think I might be messing with him a bit too much though. He's starting to ramble on about talking cats and giants on motorcycles that fly in the air. If you got time, why not check out some more other videos on this channel? Or hey, say hello to me on MK as well if you'd like to. But anyway, my name has been Jack. You have been a lovely person to rant with today. I said rant and ramble at the same time there. Interesting. Anyway, bye.